And you know what? I'm going to get this out of the way. I'm going to say it, and you'll never be able to unsee it. She looks like Bella from Twilight. I don't know if it's the resemblance or if it's just the resting bitch face of this head, but there you go. Try to get that out of your head. Okay people, welcome back to another Fwoosh review. Tonight I'm taking a look at the Medicom MAFEX Star Wars The Force Awakens Rey. Now I have other stuff in the queue. I just did a Star Wars figure yesterday, but you know what? Today is May 4th. It's Star Wars Day. What else was I supposed to do? Plus I just got this in the mail today. I was excited to get it open because Rey is one of those characters that I've been waiting for a replacement. Now with humans I usually stray towards SH Figure Arts, at kind of a smaller scale. They fit all together a little bit better. But Medicom beat Bandai to the punch this time. Of course it's been a year and a half. I mean, it's not like they're really running a race or anything. And, to be fair, Bandai has shown a Rey, but it's in her Resistance uniform. The package, it's what we've been seeing with the MAFEX. It's plain black with some graphics here and there. Big window showing you everything in the package. And the thing about Rey here, whoa, she is packed with a lot of accessories. It's pretty much everything you could ask for in a Rey figure. On the side, pretty picture of Rey, logos, number 36 in the line. On the back, promotional pictures, a few unreadables here and there. It says something like, if you pull Rey out of the package, she'll just whine about wanting to go back to it. Even though it's a prison. It's not cool inside the package. On the other side, Star Wars logo, another pretty picture. Top, Star Wars logo. On the bottom, bunch of legalese. Another thing about the package, if you shake it around too much, the instructions are just loose in the back. And it looks like the stand is back there too. But you know what? It's the package. I want the figure. I'm going to get this open and see what's going on here. Comes with instructions, but instead of little drawings, they have a picture of the actual figure. And it shows the head coming off. You put the alternate head on with the mask, or you split the helmet in half to put it on her head. The backpack, you pull the strap and put it on, and then strap it back on. And then, of course, the hands. It looks like there's two gripping hands. I actually looked down. I was about to make some unreadable jokes, but they actually have the translation on here. Medicom, you're winning me over more and more every time. The larger opening hands are for the lightsaber, and the smaller opening hands are for the blaster. Very cool. I can't read there. Okay, it's like a map. And there we go, all out of the package. And it's not quite as good as I was hoping it would be, but I still dig the figure. It's still pretty damn good. Now looking at the sculpt, you can see that all the wrinkles in the costume, well, clothing, I guess I should say, it's all a great little sculpt. It's just dynamic looking. Now hanging below the waist, I can't call it a skirt really. It's kind of just the top falling down below the belt. It's a little bit distracting. I guess that's how the costume actually is, but with it hanging down, it seems to hide the form a lot. Which kind of sucks because underneath, there's also some great sculpting going on. But keeping kind of with the sculpt, the proportions themselves are kind of wacky. It feels like her crotch is really high, while her arms are a little bit long. When she's action posed, when she's actually holding something, it's not quite as bad. But yeah, when they're straight down at her sides, she's reaching her mid-thigh, which in my brain just seems kind of weird. And then up in the face, the lightness is kind of there, but it's a little bit soft. I don't know if that's what's keeping it from going full-on 100% Rey, but the lightness is a little bit off. And then we get into paint. Nice weathering on the clothes, the leather parts, a lot of great paint apps here. But the skin tone itself seems kind of light for a girl that's been living in the desert for half her life. Even though in the movie she's not super dark, she is kind of pale, I feel like this figure is a little bit more pale than Daisy Ridley was in the movie. And then the face printing tech, Medicom is going in the right direction with this. This is a lot better than the kind of cartoony look we've been getting with unmasked heads in the past. But it's still not quite there. It looks great, the eyes look great, the lips look great, but there's still a little bit of softness, a little bit of plainness in the face that could be helped out with a little bit of shading, just a little bit extra on the skin. And then the paint also adds to that softness in the sculpt. I don't know, it's almost like her face is kind of just floating in the middle of a head. Does that make any sense? There's not any really super defining features. Don't get me wrong, this looks great. I couldn't ask for better eyes, really, but the likeness altogether just isn't quite there. I can look at it and think Rey because of other distinguishing features like her hair on the back, which is a great little addition here. The hair is sculpted nicely. And then my other big deal here is the left arm. The torso is sculpted a little bit asymmetrical, and it affects how the shoulders look on each side. The right side looks good. It looks like a natural progression down from the neck, over the shoulder, down to the arm. On the left side, it kind of just juts out. It comes down and then kicks out. It's almost like the left arm doesn't seat as deep as the right arm does. And you can actually look up inside the socket. You don't see a lot of the pin here, but when you look up here, you see a lot of the pin. So I don't know if that can be fixed, if I could shorten that pin, or if it's just not sunk enough. It works. It doesn't pop out, but yeah, it just throws me off a little bit. And speaking of popping out, her left arm right here likes to come apart right there. It's not loose. It doesn't fall off. You know, when you usually want to move the arm at the shoulder, you grab it at the arm and go like this, but you do like this and it starts working itself off. And if I was being honest about it, it kind of works out in my favor when it comes to another accessory here down the line. Now, going over articulation, there's a ball in the top of the head. It's a double dumbbell. It rotates at the bottom and the top. You get forward, pretty good. Up, not so much because her hair crashes right here. You get nice tilt, and then you get swivel. The shoulder is a ball going into the torso, coming out to a hinge and swivel in the shoulder. So you get some rotation in the torso. It hinges up, and then it swivels around. There's a swivel at the bicep, right at the wrap. It's nice and hidden. Double elbow comes up to about right there. Hinge and swivel at the wrist. I have this one set to up and down right now, but if you rotate it, come around, you can set it to side, and then there's swivel there. Ball joint at the waist. Good back. Not so great forward, but a little bit. Side. Then there's rotation. The skirt pieces are soft, so they don't really get in the way of articulation. Down in the hips, there's a hinge going into the crotch, so you do have up and down. Gives you a little bit more range of movement there. It hinges out, hinges forward all the way, hinges back. There is rotation there. Double knee comes most of the way up. There is rotation at the ankle. Then it hinges back just a little bit, forward just a little bit. Not a lot of range of movement there. There is some rocker, and then a toe joint that goes up to about right there. For accessories, and there is quite a few of them, Rey comes with 5 sets of hands. There's 2 fists. I can't call them fists. They're kind of knuckle out like she's giving a speech. She comes with 2 open, relaxed hands. They're not spread out. You could almost call them force using hands, but they're kind of just at ease hands. She comes with 2 gloved hands that are open, but it's the smaller opening hands. Like on the instructions said, this is for the blaster. There's 2 blaster gripping hands. It has the smaller grip on it. And then there is supposed to be 2 larger grip hands, but on mine, I only got a left. The right is a double of the smaller grip hands for the gun, which kind of sucks because then you get to the lightsaber. Nice sculpt, nice paint. I really like this. This is actually nicer than a lot of the other lightsabers I have from different companies. And as you can see, you get the hilt and then you get the blade separate and they go together and it kind of tapers from hilt to tip. Putting it together, you can see that it's kind of a flat peg right there that goes only one direction into the lightsaber hilt because of the curve right here. And while I have it in front of the camera, the hands, there's not a mushroom peg to the wrist, but they do hold on there pretty good. It's not too tight to get on. I don't feel like the peg's going to break whenever I put the other hands on. And they hold on, and then they pull off. So I can't really ask for more than that. I mentioned the staff. It's another great little sculpt with a lot of paint apps on it. It's cast in the metal color, but there's also some kind of wash over that to make it look kind of aged, rusted, like an old piece of junk. And then in the middle, there's some wraps. There's some brown for the leather. There's some whitish, tannish color for wraps on top of that. I guess they're grips. And then there's gold on the buckles holding the leather strap onto the staff. And as far as I can tell, that's an actual piece of leather right there. She comes with her blaster. It seems kind of small, but again, you get that picture in your head of big blasters. So I'm pretty sure this is right. It's cast in a metallic color and it has a black wash over it, again to make it look a little aged. She comes with her helmet, and you know what? This thing is a great little piece. The tampos, the paintwork, the weathering on it, This is fantastic. I'm amazed how detailed this little helmet is. But it seems a little bit fragile. It's a very thin material, and like the instructions say, you're supposed to pull it apart to put it on her head. And I'm kind of leery about pulling on it too hard to get it apart. The front splits up pretty easy, and then I run my fingernail down the back of it, and it kind of helps split it the rest of the way. You put it on her head, the half of it, and then you put the other half on. And like I said, it looks great. Even the front piece, the lenses are not really clear, kind of translucent. You can see her eyes through it. For an accessory I didn't even care about, I love this. She comes with her backpack, and again, this is impressive as hell. Just all the paint apps they put onto this one little accessory. The leather looks like leather. Then on the back you get like a metal canister on the side, something strapped under the back, some red and black on the left side, and then just little paint apps all over it. Now the instructions do say to pull this tab out, and it makes it easier to put the backpack on her, but I can't seem to get that out, and I don't want to go yanking on this. I'm afraid it'll tear off the actual peg. But if it comes down to it, you can just put her arms out and then just thread her arms through. Not a big deal at all. To make it even easier though, my arm comes off, you can just pull it off, and it makes it even easier than that. I'm making lemonade out of lemons here, guys. That's just what it is. And I love this shoulder pad thing that I didn't even know was in the movie. I don't remember it at all, but nice little addition here that kind of hangs down. Got a nice sculpt to it, some gold, some brown. There's more paint apps on this backpack than I've seen on other action figures. And then finally, the last accessory is her wrapped head. The mask, the goggles. Again, just a great little sculpt. And when you look through it, the blue in the lenses is actually a translucent material. There's nothing behind them. They're just plugged in there to give that look of lenses. But it gives you some depth too, because it looks like you're looking inside the goggles. And to switch that out, her head just pops off easily, and you pop this on. But you'll notice that there are also cutouts for the backpack straps. You just kind of work it into the backpack. Then you get the head on, and then you just kind of work it around until the backpack straps come through. They could have just left the back short to where it sits on top of the backpack, but there you go. It hangs down over it, threads through. Looks really nice. And then we get into the comparisons, and again, like Chewie yesterday, this may be the make or break for a lot of you. Comparing her to the MAFEX Kylo Ren, which I did put the Black Series robe over. I just like it better. It looks nicer. This is a good size. Rey is 5'7". Kylo Ren is... I forgot to look that up before I got in here, but he's tall. Let's just leave it at that. He's tall. So this completely works together. But if you mix your toy lines, your Black Series, your MAFEX, your model kits, your SH Figure Arts, Rey is a little bit tall. Which is weird because, like I said, Daisy Ridley is about 5'7". She does measure in at about 5 7/8, I guess you could say. Which, yeah, is slightly tall. But is she really that tall? Or is Finn short? And then here's the big kicker. Yeah. Quite a size difference here. This is, of course, the Hasbro Star Wars Black Series Rey. She's closer to Daisy's actual height, but she just doesn't look as good. The colors are plain, the face is plain. Of course, the face is plain on both of them, but one is a little bit more bitchier. Can you guess which one it is? As nice as both sculpts are, I'd give MAFEX the advantage. Of course, there's quite a bit of price difference here, too, so yeah, you can't really compare on that front. And then here she is with Old Man Han. A little bit shorter than him, but in the grand scheme of things, not quite short enough. But I'm not going to let that bother me because at the end of the day, this is a great action figure. MAFEX has done it again. Yes, I pointed out some negatives. The likeness, the left arm, the shoulder is kind of funky. The bicep does separate. The arms are a little bit long. The crotch is a little bit high. Despite all that, and I know that seems like a lot of negatives, despite all that, when you get her into a pose that looks good, she looks good. And when it comes down to it, that's what matters to me. The look on the shelf. Yes, she's a little bit large, but that can be fudged. Action poses, you can put other figures between her and the other figures that kind of blow out. And MAFEX is coming out with an FN2187, so maybe they'll have a Finn to come after that. Does that mess with my SH Figure Arts in my display? Yes, Yes, it does. But since I put the Figure Arts Chewbacca in the classic display, for the Force Awakens display, the new trilogy display, I can put the Black Series Chewbacca in between my Figure Arts and my MAFEXs, and it'll kind of split the sizes, and it'll help even all that out. Am I justifying moving this Rey into my main display? Yeah. Because in the long run, it's just a better action figure. Better looking, better articulated, better accessories. So, yeah, why wouldn't I put this into the display? Why wouldn't I find a way to put this into the display? I spent the money. I like the figure. I need to make it work in the overall scheme of things. But as far as QC goes, on a MAFEX figure, the left bicep does come apart. But other than that, I have no QC issues here. In fact, the build quality on this is better than some of the SH Figure Arts I've gotten in the past few months. But again, you size sticklers, you're not going to like this. It's not going to fit exactly into your display. But if you're one of those people that fudge things in, like I am, I recommend getting this. And for accessories alone, hell, I love the X-Wing fighter pilot helmet. It's better than any other helmets I've gotten in this scale. So if you like the review, comment, like, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the Fwoosh.